Spreaker, and iHeartRadio.
Here is Steve and Steve.
Oh my God. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
Ah, boy, here we go.
Let's turn the microphones on so we can do that again.
Let me bring these down so we can check. And
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, we're ready.
It is the
I think.
I'm your
I can't
host,
hear
Steve.
myself.
I look over to the board and I see the microphones are off. Yeah.
I can't hear me.
I can hear you.
I can hear you through yours. I can hear me through yours.
I can hear you just fine. And the monitor hears you just fine.
Am I plugged in?
I don't know. You might be. Maybe
Well,
not.
the first time I've been plugged out.
Show's brought to you.
Plugged up.
There you go. Show's brought to you
If I
by.
eat some of that stuff, maybe I would be unplugged.
Yeah, possibly. The show's brought to you by DDW Transmission. And what a week. Oh my gosh. Everything this week. And we are obviously going to stick to the sports side of it. A whole lot has gone on this week in the United States of America. We have a new president-elect, and congratulations to a incredibly successful campaign, which surprised the heck out of everybody, but including myself. But yeah, I don't know. You're working just fine. You're
Now I heard you. I can hear you. I can't hear me.
I don't know. Well, I can see you're working on telemetry. So
Okay, well.
Anyhow, congratulations, Donald Trump, who's going to be our new president, and that's where I'm going to leave that. So a whole lot went on, obviously, in and around the country, and it didn't take away from the sports world. The NBA got kicked off. A lot of really interesting storylines came from that this week. Dwayne Wade goes back to his old team, the Miami Heat, walks away with a victory with his new team, the Chicago Bulls. We'll touch on that in just a little bit. Little infighting going on in the NBA and on a couple of teams, and a couple of quarterback not so controversies happening. One particularly in Dallas. We'll touch on that. And by the way, to all of you who have served in our armed forces and or police, fire, and so on and so forth, happy Veterans Day to you all.
Thank you.
And Mr. Detterman,
Yeah.
little hot stove action already starting up.
I tell you, it's getting going.
Got some awards handed out already.
Well, the Cubs have collected some hardware, a couple of Silver Slugger awards. Also, Kyle Hendricks named the National League Pitcher of the Year by the Sporting News. Not the Cy Young yet. Not the Cy Young yet. But this is the Sporting News thing, which is really neat. That is one that is actually voted on by the other players. And the Silver Sluggers, of course, are voted on prior to the season ending. So, some nice awards for the Cubs. Jake Arrieta and Anthony Rizzo were the Silver Sluggers.
Jake Arrieta, I want to tip my hat to Jake Arrieta. How often do you see a pitcher win a Silver Slugger?
Well, no. There's always a pitcher.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there's always a Bumgarner's won it the last couple of years.
Really?
But Jake had like 6 or 7 home runs this year.
Oh,
so,
man.
Yeah,
what a fantastic
heck, he
job.
already had more home runs than half the catchers in the major leagues this past year. Now, one other thing we need to do is we do need to wish our producer and our social media manager, Emily.
Yes, producer Emily, happy birthday.
Very happy birthday today, yeah.
Happy birthday. How old is she? You want to say it on the air?
No, we don't want to say that.
I mean, she's young enough that you can do that. What is she, like 26, 25?
No.
What?
No, she's 23.
23.
23 years
See,
old.
that's
today.
not that bad.
No.
That's not that bad. It's not like,
No,
not
but,
like saying a woman's age when she's
she's
45 or something.
That's right. That's, you don't want, but even women, when they hit that age, you don't want to start saying ages or anything. 21's a great age. And after 21, everything's, you don't say anything until after they're 30, then they're 29.
Now,
and you stay that for a while.
Now, in your stable of children, she is
Yes.
now, where is she in the lineage?
There's Zach, and then there's Emily. Now, for 2 weeks now, until the 27th, Zachary and Emily are the same age.
Okay, so Zach is younger.
No, Zach is older.
Oh, okay, he's older.
Yeah,
he will
turn
24
24 on the 27th of November.
Okay, so he's going to be 24. She's 23.
Yeah,
23 and a 24-year-old. How old do you feel now?
Your
baby just turned 23.
Yes. Well, the thing is my elder statements is still 23 right now too.
This is true.
So over 16 days they get to share the same age.
This is true.
Which we used to always tease my son when he was younger.
It was
great. You go, Zach, how old are you? 10. Emily, how old are you? 10. Zach, how old are you? Almost 11.
I could see Zach saying that too. I really could.
Oh yeah. So he's down in Cincy. We went down and saw him last week. Everything going good down that way.
Wonderful.
Got there for the traffic for a Cincinnati Bearcat football game.
That had to be phenomenal.
Oh, it was great. You're just going, oh my God. How do we got, because we had to go around campus.
Right.
You go, good God, this is horrible. But it was a good time down there, and we'll probably see him in another couple of weeks or so.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah, but
Glad
but again, a lot of things going on in baseball. We digressed a little bit there.
Yes, definitely.
Hockey is really going strong right now. The Blackhawks have now won 7 straight. They are in the lead in their division right now. Montreal, you'll love this. The Montreal Canadiens have gone 10-0 to start the season.
Unreal.
And then they lost a game. 10-0.
10-0.
In hockey, yes. And they left the goalie in for all 10 goals.
Oh my.
So I just said, wow. That either you hate that goalie or you just got a real strong vendetta against him.
Right.
Because you don't leave someone in that long, but that's what they do up in Montreal. Now, the Blackhawks, of course, they have 2 games this week, two really tough games. They do take on Montreal and they take on Washington. So they're taking 2 of the leaders over in the other conference.
Right.
So Bill came down to join us. As soon as Bill walks in,
flusters him.
Both of us just go, okay.
Completely flustered Detterman. Not really sure what his problem is.
I figured he's going to go, okay, this is what's wrong with your headset and why you can't hear yourself.
He said to just keep talking as he's packing up all your stuff in a crate.
I know.
He'll walk you to the door.
He won't walk me to the door. He'll say the door's that way. Go. Make sure you turn off the light after you leave, okay? I don't want to have to take any more stinking bills on you guys.
So just as a quick jump over to different subject matters, something that I had teased a little bit ago. I want to get your opinion on this really quick. If you look at some of the NFL quarterbacks that have started this year, first-time starters, rookies, whatnot. Yep. Most of them have been reasonably impressive.
Yes, they have.
Dak Prescott being one of them.
Very impressive so far.
So impressive, in fact, that Tony Romo has been medically cleared to play, and yet he is still not starting this week against the Steelers.
Is he active this week, though? I didn't think they were going to make him active this week.
They have him listed as questionable.
Okay.
And Jerry Jones actually has gone on record to say that it is now a coach's decision. It's no longer a medical decision.
So in other words, whatever he tells the coach, whatever he tells Garrett, that's who's going to start.
Right.
Okay. Because we know it's not really a coach's decision down in Dallas.
No,
there's no such thing as a coach's decision. It's the owner's decision. So, but I mean, it's been a good year for Dak Prescott, a good year for a lot of young quarterbacks.
Yes,
Derek Carr.
However, one quarterback in particular, which really surprises the heck out of me,
Okay.
Do you remember the first pick in the draft this year?
Jared Goff, who has not played at all, I do believe.
Not taken a single snap.
And his team is 3-5, are they?
Yes,
that
sir.
Right?
That is correct.
They've lost 4 in a row.
That is correct.
Yeah, the St. Louis or the St. Louis Rams, the LA Rams.
Yeah. Yes,
the LA Rams.
That is correct.
Jared Goff, the number 1 pick, has not played a snap, and don't look for him to start here soon.
No. And, really by all accounts, in my opinion, when you look at the other quarterbacks that have come in from the draft this year, started and have done well.
Well, Wentz has done well in Philly. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jared Goff not even playing a snap.
No.
It makes you stop and look at, what did they do in college? What happened in college? What system were they in? And stuff like that. When you look at the system that Goff was in, it was a throw it up, spread offense, a bunch of...
It's not really reading a defense, it's just throwing to a spot.
Right. It was a bunch of plays where it was just all timing, get in sync with your receivers and stuff like that. There really was no defensive recognition involved.
No.
And I think, honestly, if he would have had one more year in college, that may have changed. He may have been able to do a little more defensive reading. But if you look at, for example, Prescott and as you had just mentioned, Carson Wentz, the two of them both came from systems, more pro style.
Right.
You look over the defense, make adjustments, and I think it kind of gave them a little bit of a leg up as they came into the NFL and with their respective teams now are showing the fruits of their labor.
Oh, I agree. I mean, it's it's something that I listened to a lot of sports talk this week, and the call is Goff needs to get out there and play. You need to see what you have. You need. I mean, how can you say, well, we've got a capable quarterback in there? Their quarterback is Case Keenum.
Yeah, why they keep riding the Case Keenum thing, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I mean, Case took him out to a 3-1 start. No, the defense took him out to a 3-1 start.
Right.
And now they're 3-5, and they've looked miserable. They held Seattle to 10 points.
Exactly.
They just couldn't score. They couldn't score, and they got beat 10-0.
Now, when I look at how good the quarterbacks are doing in these respective teams, the Cowboys and
right.
and the Eagles and
the
so
Eagles,
forth.
Yeah.
Then I look at the Cleveland Browns. You have
to have a different category for Cleveland.
The first time
really
since 2011. The first time since 2011 that any NFL team has used 3 quarterbacks in one game. And not because 2 of them got injured.
Yeah, we took, but my wife and I took the dog out yesterday, and we always do our picks. And she goes, "Well, did you pick for tonight?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well,
you could have picked that one in September."
She goes, "Well, who's playing?" I said, "Baltimore and Cleveland." She goes,
"Well, Baltimore will be playing."
She just goes, I said, I really think this is the second time that we may see an 0-16 team. And she just started laughing. She goes, "Yeah, I don't see anything good coming out of there. Not a thing." I mean, when you go from Cleveland, you go, hey, the Cavaliers, they won the NBA. The Indians, they almost won the World Series. They went to the 7th game of the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns. Yeah, the 0-8 Browns. Are they 0-9 now?
I believe now they're 0-9.
They're 0-9, yeah. I mean, this is... I think when you get to football, you have to have a separate category, and that's the sad thing is that, since they began that franchise again in Cleveland, it's not the same. I mean, it's not even close. And, you just got to take a look at it from owner on down, and you just got to basically say, what the hell are you doing? I mean, really? I mean, take a look at their draft picks.
When you look at the Cleveland Browns and you see how mediocrity would be a step up for anything that they've done over the last 10 years, it really makes you wonder, how can any one team be that bad in the NFL for that long? Now, being a Cubs fan, I can understand if a team is struggling, mightily for some time. That can happen in baseball. It does happen. In the NBA, I can even see it because a lot of these owners, all they care about is putting butts in seats. Not to mention, one injury can dynamically change an NBA team. The Chicago Bulls should know all about that.
Right.
Now, in the NFL, where 25% of your team can change every year through free agency, the draft, and so on and so forth, how can you just swing and miss every year? I mean, really, you've fallen out of the blind squirrel stumbling into a nut category here. These guys, the general manager, the head of football operations, whatever coach they happen to have in at the time, because God knows they don't keep a coach for more than half a season. Nobody can lay their hands on any kind of success there, and I just don't understand why and how bad things have to get before dynamic changes get made from the top down.
Well, let's just go through here. Let's take a look at their number one picks for the last 60 since the year 1999 when they drafted Tim Couch.
Okay.
Didn't do anything. Courtney Brown
Bust.
got hurt, gone. Gerard Warren, gone.
Bust.
William Green, running back, gone.
Bust.
Jeff Fain, center from Notre Dame, gone.
Yep.
Keller Winslow II, they traded, he's gone. Braylon Edwards, gone. 2006, Cameron Wembley. Remember him?
No.
No, neither do I. Here's one good one. Joe Thomas, offensive tackle. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Okay. Brady Quinn, also in that year. No longer around.
Nope.
They had no pick in 2008. 2009, Alex Mack. I think he's still playing. I'm not sure. Joe Hayden, then, the cornerback. Phil Taylor, defensive tackle. No. Trent Richardson, gone. Brandon Whedon, gone. 2013, Barcavius Mingo. I don't even think he's there anymore.
That sounds like a Pokemon character.
Yeah, no, he's Justin Gilbert, no. Johnny Manziel, no. Danny Shelton, Cameron Irving, and Corey Coleman.
Wow, just swings and misses everywhere.
They
have like a batting average of like 0.27.
That's them. I want to take a look. Let's see. No. I want to see
when you're that bad. How does the fan base respond to that? How can you, as a Browns fan, keep coming to the stadium every year? Season ticket holders keep buying season tickets every year, and just expect disappointing seasons year after year. Just disappointment after disappointment every single year.
Okay.
And they don't even, it's not like they even start out, hot and then just fall apart due to injuries or whatever. They stumble out of the blocks.
Yeah.
Everybody else comes off the blocks and they stumble, hit their face, and maybe like knock over the first 2 or 3 hurdles before finally jumping one. And by the time everything's said and done, they're bringing up the rear, bloody and bruised. I mean, this it looks like a team that just has never figured out how to get it together.
And here's on the other side of the ball here. Let's take a look at the New England Patriots first-round picks. 1999, Damian Woody, center. Probably a Hall of Famer, maybe?
Yeah, very close. Andy
Katzenmoyer, he got hurt. Richard Seymour.
I would say he's pretty good.
Daniel Graham, the tight end.
Once again, very good.
Ty Warren. Vince Wilfork.
Pretty sure he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Ben Watson, tight end.
Definitely very good.
Logan Mankins.
Very good.
Lawrence Maroney. He did well for a little bit. I think he got hurt.
Yeah, I thought injuries took him out early.
Brandon Merriweather, the safety.
Would say he's pretty darn good.
Gerard Mayo.
Once again, very good.
Go to 2010, Devin McCourty.
Yeah.
You're talking some of the tops in the league.
Yeah, I mean, these are
2011, Nate Solder. the offensive tackle who's been there.
Oh, right, yeah.
Chandler Jones, defensive end.
Okay.
Dante Hightower.
Once again, very good.
Dominique Easley was a defensive tackle, and Malcolm Brown, defensive tackle last year. They didn't. If you take,
you want to talk about a complete opposite.
That's what I'm saying. If you take a look at one and you look at the other, you go. And the thing is you got to remember in those drafts, New England's usually picking at the bottom of the draft.
Yeah.
Cleveland's picking between 1 and 5 every single year.
Yeah.
And if you take a look at this is how a franchise builds itself because they know how the hell to draft. I mean, New England, either they were, I think they had the 1 year where I think they were probably middle of the road, maybe 15 or 16. That was the year that Brady got hurt.
Right.
Okay, that's when Castle came in and did really well and got himself his contract.
Right.
But still, they didn't finish so well.
Right. No, they just missed the playoffs.
Or they just made it. But there was the lowest they had been in years.
They had just missed the playoffs, and they ended up being like lower teens.
Yeah.
Like literally 14,
18,
13, 14,
something
something like that.
But the thing is that you take a look at those picks, and you see the production that they got out of those guys.
Right.
I mean, those guys have gone on to tremendous careers in the NFL.
Right.
And you take a look at the Browns and you go, what the hell were you thinking? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, look at these guys.
I mean, you screw up a little bit, that's one thing. But, a repeated pattern like that,
it's like,
there's a reason for it.
I imagine I can pull up the Chicago Bears and it'd probably be like the same thing as looking at Cleveland.
Probably fairly similar, yeah.
They're you can tell those franchises that have sustained success. Say New England, Pittsburgh, the Packers over the last 10 years or so. Some of the teams that consistently are right at the top. I mean, Denver would be another one. They're the ones that make hay when that draft comes. These other guys, I mean, how does Houston, how did St. Louis always end up? St. Louis / now L.A. always end up in the top 5. How does Cleveland end up in the top 5? The idea of doing a draft and having it go from worst to best is to try and get these teams to get better players. And the thing we're finding out are these franchises, they have no clue as to what they're doing because they stay in that same mediocre state for how long?
Right.
I mean, the worst thing you want as a football player or as a fan or a football team is, I saw this for several years where the Packers were they were good enough to be 7-9 or 8-8. And they didn't get a top 10 pick. They were always right around 16 to 20. And you go, God, if you could have just lost a couple more games, we could have got a better pick. And you are stuck in that mediocre land.
Right.
And you kept getting mediocre players because you still couldn't draft. You still had some good players, but it was just mediocre land. Right. And then all of a sudden they Ron Wolf got there and knew how to draft.
Uh-huh.
And even when you were at 28 to 32, you were drafting people. Or 26 to 30, excuse me.
Right.
I wanted to add 2 more teams. You can tell that. But 26. I mean, they were drafting and still clicking. New England's done that now for almost 2 decades.
And they show no signs of slowing down either.
No, they don't. They don't. I mean, that, right now, if you take a look at the best teams in the NFL, I mean, New England to me is going to be number 1, but then again, there's a surprise team out in the West there, the Oakland Raiders, that's going to be, after what they did with Denver this past week, that's going to be a really good, solid 2.
Strange how once Al Davis died, and they got a real football mind in there to work the draft and start bring
like a Theo Epstein type of guy. You change owners and
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I just think because Al Davis was dead set on being the man to draft and to build the team and everything, which worked fine with his philosophy back in the 60s.
And what has turned around the Dallas Cowboys right now? Because they had the same person down there in Jerry Jones. You know what happened down there, right?
Yeah, his son took over.
His son took over, and when he wanted to draft Manziel, I said, no. Here's the pick we're going to do.
Yeah.
He said, no. Here, make
no,
that
Jerry.
Pick. Yeah.
This is what we're doing.
Here's the pick. We're going for the offensive lineman, Nick Martin out of Notre Dame. And guess what? Now we have the best offensive line in the NFL.
Easily. So we got to take a break. When we come back, speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, no controversy here. Tony Romo is not suiting up for the Cowboys, or if he is, he certainly isn't going out. Dak Prescott's taking over. They're riding a hot hand, and we're going to discuss what that means for Romo and his future in Dallas. Plus, what do the Seattle Seahawks and a card game have in common? I'll give you that on the other side of this. You're listening to the Cheap Seats on XCRS Radio.
Hey, this is Jonathan A. from Full Circle. I listen to XCRS Radio.
Broadcasting to the four corners of the earth. Michiana Edge every Sunday night, 7 p.m. XCRSradio.com.
Stick with it, and you're passionate about it, you'll get better.
Climb aboard Starship Comedy and join co-hosts Adam Nielsen and
your beloved comedian, Colton Cole.
As we boldly go where no internet radio team from Michiana has gone before.
I am a legend from the future.
We will travel to the comedy underworld so you will know where's the show.
I miss when drinking was fun. You know what I mean? Like, before it was like a problem.
If it's funny or it's cool, we will cover it. Hey.
Those magic gathering cards.
I was sent from space.
Dude, that's gold.
Just like my jokes.
Your mama must be so proud.
Why can't you love me?
Have you heard those two wacky guys, Chris and Ginn on the Life is Art Also show? They share their favorite songs and their future favorites too. They have live interviews with authors, comedians, artists and musicians, and lots more. They also have a Word of the Week with Mad Dog Ho, the official lexicographer of Internet Radio. Tune in every Thursday, 6 p.m. on XCRS.com.
Everybody's got to have a hobby.
Yes.
Option 5, located in Mishawaka, Indiana, specializes in hand-built boutique guitar effects pedals. Option 5 has been producing the highest quality pedals right here in northern Indiana since 2002, and they continue to create original, non-copy designs today. Option 5 is not simply tweaking popular pedals and then slapping their name on them. They're producing groundbreaking effects designed for guitarists of all styles. And Option 5 doesn't just build cool pedals. They provide top-notch repair service as well. Option 5 repairs pedals and PA equipment, can modify and retube amplifiers, and service or repair Hammond organs and Leslie speakers. If you're looking for the highest quality effects pedals and the best in repair and customer service, check out Option 5 in Mishawaka at 1126 East Jefferson. Give them a call at 574-255-6539 or online at option5effects.com. That's option, the number 5fx.com. Option 5. Let tone abound.
Well, Les Miles has already said he's going to a Michigan game.
From all of the games on our big screens to the best collection of memorabilia from your favorite sports greats, Rock Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Mishawaka has you covered. Our menu features something for everyone. Amazing sandwiches and wraps, and the best burgers around, including the Rockstar Overdose, 2 half-pound patties, served with bacon, cheddar cheese, and piled high with French fries. Like us on Facebook to check out our daily food and drink specials that are sure to be great on your gut and easy on your wallet. We've got you covered between game days, too. Wednesday night is trivia night where you can match wits with your buddies for great prizes. And every weekend, Rocks features great music from some of Michiana's finest artists. Come see why there's no better place to get your fan fix than Rock Sports Bar and Grill in the Yorktown Center building in downtown Mishawaka. For those who come to Rocks, we salute you.
How much can he slap in the face of LSU? He can take Indiana. Purdue also. Very high. I'm ready.
The Cheap Seats on XCRS Radio. Coming back to you post, what do we want to call this? The post-election edition, maybe? I don't know.
Postpartum.
I know. Okay, I said I wasn't going to touch on it.
No,
I don't really want to touch on it. I just want to ask you one question. I just want to ask you one question. Did you stockpile goods and supplies already for the civil war that is about to ensue? I have heard so many people talk about civil war coming, and I've heard even more celebrities, especially, saying if Trump wins the election, we're moving to Canada.
And some have decided that they are going to go. Did
you hear about the Canadian immigration website?
It got as soon as he won, it went down.
It crashed
because it got hit so many times.
It crashed.
That is hard. That
is harsh.
This is a time where both sides. I mean, if you didn't think it, we talked about it forever. When you ever talk politics, it isn't a problem of one side or the other. The problem is that neither side has the cojones to sit down and talk together and somehow try and meet somewhere in the middle.
Right.
We want to push this, we want to push that, and we don't even want to listen to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we've got someone that got in there. There's enough people ticked off enough that they voted this man in. That not my candidate.
I got to be perfectly honest. I was shocked.
Yeah, well, I was too. And the thing is we've got to go beyond that and hope that somewhere along the line, we as a country can come together. I mean, the amount of hate and racist things that I've seen over the past couple of days, as far as swastikas here and things spray painted on cars and just nasty stuff.
Oh, and even going the other day, or even going the other way, rather.
Yeah.
Seeing it the other way. I've seen reports of literally, I've seen reports of white people being beaten by groups of black people just because they voted for Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a society that wants everybody to be equal, but the minute a little bit of tension arises, it's immediate. We immediately, for some reason, want to revert back to this.
But I will say that this has basically been fostered for about the past 14 months because the person that we have elected as a country fostered that idea. Fostered hate.
Yeah, I will certainly
fostered this division. Celebrated it at rallies, saying, "Yeah, beat them, hit them."
I will certainly agree. I will certainly agree he had his hand in it. I will also say, unfortunately, I think there are a lot of other things that have helped this along on top of him. But he certainly played his own role.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of other things that have played a role in the division that we have, and this is why we do sports. Because it is a great it is the great unifier.
You and I have talked politics before, and both of us get to the point finally going, okay, let's talk sports now.
Yeah, well,
let's.
I think you and I are actually of a like mind in this particular political arena.
We're very close because I think I'm more liberal than you are, and you're more conservative than I am, but both of us lean more towards the middle. And this is, and we can see both sides, and we can find a way, a spot of agreement.
And this is obviously way off the middle where we're sitting right now politically.
The only thing I could see when it came down to this, when we got through all the conventions and everything else, I said, and I made this comment with all the people out there and all the qualified people to hold this post. And you got these two grand parties out there. This was the best you could do. Seriously, this was the choice.
I actually likened it when I was at my polling place Tuesday because I did my civic duty and I voted. I voted for Gary Johnson, but I voted.
Yep.
I had literally mentioned to the people at the polling place that it was incredible to see a turnout as big as this.
Oh, it was huge. But
and I said the surprising thing is it's a turnout to pick the shiniest of two turds.
Yeah.
So I mean, really,
here's the sad thing, and everybody talks. Oh, it was a great turn on that. 100 million people that were registered still did not vote.
100 million people.
100 million people did not vote. One of them being Colin Kaepernick.
Did not vote.
Colin Kaepernick, the man that wants to protest, everything that's going on about how he's being mistreated and everything else,
right.
did not vote. I mean, to me, at that point, your credibility is gone.
Right. So now you are not a protester, you're a whiner. Basically, is what you are.
I mean,
because you had an opportunity to make a difference with your vote. You did not choose to do that. Instead, you would choose to disrespect our national anthem by kneeling during the national anthem.
And I understand I understand protests. I mean, that's what our First Amendment. You have the right to do and freely speak and everything. I understand that.
Right.
Do I agree with what he did? No, I don't agree with how he did it. No.
Right.
But I mean, the thing is that thing is that you do have the right to vote, and that is something that It's your civic duty.
Right. That's exactly it. It is your duty.
If you do not agree with the candidates, vote for something. Vote for something along the line. There has to be something.
Right. Write somebody in. You can always write somebody in. I'm not going to name drop who it is, but somebody I know actually wrote in Bernie Sanders. Seriously, you can write somebody in. Hell, I could have wrote myself in.
Yeah. Here's a sad thing too. Harambe, that was the gorilla in Cincinnati that they killed.
Right, sure.
Got 15,000 votes. The gorilla got 15,000.
Dead gorilla.
Yes, 15,000 votes. The one classic line I saw this said, you know what? Trump did something that no other person's been able to do for a while. He finally removed all the Bushes and all the Clintons from political consideration.
This is true. That is true.
And
the two political families in this country, the two first families.
Right. I mean, but for all of you who were staunch Clinton fans, hey, you got 4 years. You got 4 years to figure out what you need to do. Mm-hmm. But in those 4 years, you need to make the best of the situation. You need to be able to agree, and you need to be able to support. For those Trump followers, hey, congratulations. But now, you need to back up what you are fighting for, and you need to back up and make sure that this country is great again. And by dividing it racially, by dividing it with the words and the taunts and the actions you're doing, that's not making it great. It's making it a joke.
Right. And on the other side, for those of you that are anti-Trump and you just want to go around and find an excuse to beat people up or rob and loot and everything else, what are you doing? You're proving all the stereotypes right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're doing. So think about what you're doing, and let's talk sports.
There you go. Thank you.
Speaking of somebody that's making the best, what?
I didn't want to go there.
I didn't want to either, but I felt it. It was our civic duty.
Yes, it was.
This is our 2 hours of airtime. So
there you go. Come and take me off the air.
Speaking of somebody who is making the best with what he has.
Yes.
Tony Romo now. No longer a medical problem, has practiced 3 full practices with the team now, and is showing that he can play, is not being considered to start.
He shouldn't be.
And no, I absolutely agree not. Right now, Dak Prescott doing as good as what he's doing. They're running the ball with Zeke Elliott about as good as you could possibly ever ask. The offensive line is doing its job. This ground control offense lends itself to a quarterback like Prescott who can break out of the pocket and make things happen if he needs to. And Tony Romo, you want to talk about somebody who is a consummate professional.
Yep.
You do not hear whining. No. You don't hear wanting to be traded. You don't hear demands for starting because he's Tony Romo. He is practicing with the practice squad.
Well, and the
he
thing
is helping the practice squad right now.
Because that is who he is. He is a professional. I mean, he can see what Dak Prescott's doing. He can see how this team is riding behind this young kid and improving every single week. You know, you don't just sit there and drop the golden horse because the golden child has come back.
Right.
You know, this guy is taking them to places they haven't been in the last couple of years. You know, this is something that, you know, last year we saw something the same situation, but it went the other way. And that's up in Denver when you had Brock Osweiler was performing very well. They were winning, yet you know, they decided to bring in Peyton Manning to give him his final, you know, couple of games. Now, there's
a huge disparity there, though, between Tony Romo and Peyton Manning.
Well, yeah, I agree that. But the thing is what you did and what the Denver Broncos did is they ruined any chance of keeping Brock Osweiler.
Right.
I mean, they basically gutted their quarterback position.
Which, to be honest, if you look at what Osweiler's been doing in Houston, I don't know if that was necessarily a bad thing for the money that Osweiler wanted. And he got it down in Houston, and look what he's doing down. I think he's mediocre.
I think if they would have let him play last year, I bet he would have come in what they wanted him, because he would have wanted to stay. But with the situation it is, when you're dissed like that, and it's just okay. We're going to, you're winning, but you know what? We got to let Peyton in. It's his last year.
All right, so
this could be Romo's last year.
So let's look at what exactly. Let's look at what is going to happen with Tony Romo now. You know, where is his future? Does he stay in Dallas? Does he move on? Does he hang back and take a backup role now? Remember, he's 38, so I mean he's not getting any younger. No. So I mean we're I think pretty well in agreement that his prime is gone.
Yes and no. I mean, Tony Romo can still play. I mean, the thing is he's had some bad injuries the last couple of years.
Right.
But when he's out there, he can still play. He can still hit. I mean, he still throws for a high percentage. He still has a high quarterback rating. He throws for touchdowns. He knows how to play the game at that position. You know, right now he doesn't have the mobility that he once had. You know, Dak Prescott has that. You know, Dak Prescott has a little bit more fluidity as moving around and out of the pocket.
Right.
That gives that line a little bit more time to protect him.
Right.
I mean, I see Tony Romo, you know, I'm not sure how many years he has left on his deal. But I can see Tony Romo either, you know, staying there in a backup role, or if wanting, you know, I could see him going somewhere.
If Tony Romo were to leave, I think it would have to be kind of a ready-made team that's like a quarterback away from being a real contender. Tony Romo at 38 years old, you know, health issues as far as, you know, being, you know, keeping from being injured. You know, this is a guy.
Could you see him just on the other side of the lake?
You mean in Houston?
No, just on the other side of the lake here, because they're looking to get rid of that guy.
Chicago?
Yeah,
no,
they're looking to get rid of their quarterback.
No.
You don't think so? With Alshon Jeffrey?
Two reasons. Offensive line's not good enough, and defense is not good enough.
Okay.
He'd be out there too much. Tony Romo, cold weather, historically not great.
Okay.
So, if I look at Tony Romo going anywhere, like I said, I would say a team that is ready to go. They just need a quarterback.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville would be a good idea. I think that'd be possibly a good stop for him.
Tampa has Jameis Winston. Winston's been playing well, so you're not going there. You're not going to Atlanta. You're not going to Carolina where you got Cam Newton. I'm looking at all the warm teams for you right now.
Right.
That's what you're thinking. Tennessee has Mariota. He's been playing well. You're not going to see that go. They spent enough money on it.
Could you see Arizona?
With Carson Palmer? You already got Tony Romo out there and Carson Palmer. Same guy.
True.
Okay.
True. What about with Chip Kelly in San Francisco?
Okay, and you're talking bad about the Bears.
Oh, that's true.
And then you throw San Francisco out
that's
there.
True.
Come on, San Diego, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers isn't going anywhere in San Diego.
No. Oakland, you got Derek Carr.
Yeah, Oakland's doing fine.
Now L.A. Could you see him going to L.A.? But you just got done spending a ton of money on Jared Goff.
Yeah, so you have Jared Goff who's not even played.
But here's the thing. Do you want to bring Tony Romo in to teach the kid? Kind of like what Favre did to Aaron Rodgers.
This is a possibility.
Can you bring him in to do that?
This is a possibility. I think Tony Romo would fare well in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Maybe even put him in a maybe even put him in a dome, depending on what happens with Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe take him to like a Minnesota.
Do you think Minnesota just gave an extension to Bradford, didn't they?
Well, that's right. They did. They did.
I mean, if you take a look at your dome teams, Seattle's not a dome, but very close to it. Russell Wilson's not going anywhere.
No.
Bradford, they're happy with Bradford until Bridgewater comes back. If he comes back, I'm kind of thinking he may not. Matthew Stafford, he's not going anywhere in Detroit.
No.
Okay. Your other dome team is down in New Orleans, and that's Drew Brees. Drew Brees isn't going anywhere.
No, yeah, Drew Brees.
I mean, Drew Brees is the same.
That offense is fantastic.
Drew Brees is the
right
same
now.
as Tony Romo. Again, 38.
Yeah, and really, the Saints' offense is not a problem. It's their defense that can't stop
Atlanta's your other dome, and that's Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Matt Ryan is running that show down there.
So, I mean, you sit there and you take a look and you go, okay, who are the teams that he possibly go to?
Yeah, so there are only a few spots.
Cleveland?
No, he's not going to Cleveland.
No.
I said a team that is a quarterback away.
I understand.
From
and the
being
thing
a real
is
contender.
the Bears would be viable.
I don't see how.
Well, the Bears aren't as bad as you think.
They're not as good as you think.
Oh no, they aren't. No. I mean, right now they're playing a lot better because they're starting to get some people back.
Right.
But I mean, this is a team that's going to finish probably this year. 2-6. They'll probably finish 6-10. That's not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad.
It's not
but
good.
But again, you were playing without Cutler for what, 4 or 5 games?
This is true.
You were going Brian Hoyer and whoever else they could throw in there.
Right.
Okay. You got the LA Rams. Again, you got Case Keenum, who's like, who the hell? Why is he playing? Romo could easily go out there and be, the person to work with Jared Goff. I think he'd be perfect person to work with him. So I look at the landing spots because anywhere else you go, Denver's got Simeon. They don't want to mess with that.
Right.
Okay. Houston got Osweiler. They just paid him a ton of money.
Who's Miami rolling with right now?
Miami is rolling with. Oh my God, what is his name? Let me think. Jacksonville, I think, would be a good
I think Jacksonville would be about one of the best landing spots because really, as far as the team itself goes, defensively they're not bad.
Is it Bortles that's at? No, he's at Jacksonville.
Yeah, no, Blake Bortles is in Jacksonville right now.
Who is at the dog? Tannehill.
Oh yeah, Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, how's that thing going?
Not the greatest, but so he's got a rating of where's he at 87.4, which is ahead of Simeon, which is ahead of Winston, which is ahead of Newton.
That's not terrible.
No, it's ahead.
It's not great, but it's not terrible.
Here's all the people behind him: Ryan Fitzpatrick,
not a shock.
Blaine Gabbert, Brock Osweiler,
sure.
Joe Flacco, Case Keenum, Blake Bortles,
okay.
Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Trevor Simeon. He's ahead of all those.
Cam Newton, about the only surprise there.
He's very close to these other 4: Carson Palmer, Tyrod Taylor, Carson Wentz. They're all 3 within half a point of each other.
So statistically, he's not doing
Eli's only 1 point ahead of him.
So statistically, he's not doing terrible.
No, he's not doing terrible. And as far as the team itself, the team itself is in second place at 4-4. Right now, if there was a playoff, they'd be in.
All right, so Jacksonville really sounds like the landing spot.
I think when I'm looking at this, I think Jacksonville. If you're looking for a spot, 2-6. The reason you're not there is you've only scored 153 points in 8 games. That's less than 20 points a game.
Yeah, so I mean, you're definitely talking instant increase in offense with Tony Romo on board. So yeah, I would say that would be a great landing
then
spot.
Then you go to the LA Rams. They've only scored 130 points in 8 games.
Yeah, but who do they have to throw to?
Well, who do they have throwing?
Well, this is true too. I
think you got to look at that first.
But I think if Romo came in there, he'd want to make sure that they had some kind of wide receivers for him to throw to.
Well, they've got they've got. Oh my God, who's is it Austin? No, who's the one guy that St. Louis got?
If they have you mean L.A. If they had if they have Miles Austin.
No, they don't have Miles Austin.
Oh.
Oh, jeez.
I thought that's who you were referring to.
No. Let me get down here and see if I can. Tavon Austin.
Oh, Tavon Austin.
Yeah. They got Kenny Britt. Both of them have 37 receptions each.
Kenny Britt is he's getting up there.
Yeah. So what? There's a lot of them that are up there.
Well, you wonder how long he's going to stick around.
Yeah, I mean, but still, they both of them have 37 receptions. Kenny Britt's not that old, I don't think, is he?
Boy, it seems like...
Well, he's been around. It seems like he's been around forever.
Yeah, it seems like he's been around a long time. Yeah. And Kenny Britt, if I remember right, he was in Tennessee when Jeff Fisher was still coaching there.
Well, he's still playing for Jeff Fisher.
Oh, I know, but what I'm saying is, that was... You're talking back when Jeff Fisher was coaching Tennessee. What was that... was it like 6-7 years ago?
Ooh, it was a while. Yeah. He was born in 88, so he is 29.
Boy, it seems like he's been in the league longer than that.
Yeah.
So,
actually 28, I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go.
He's 28 years old.
Huh.
Yeah,
sure seems like he's been around longer.
He's been around for at least 85 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still young.
Yeah, it seems like he's been around longer than that. I don't know.
So I mean,
for some reason
there are some weapons out there. Plus, they've got Gurley out there too.
Yeah, this is true.
So I mean, there's some pieces out in L.A., and I think he'd be a great mentor to Jared Goff.
Right.
So that'd be one thing. But no, I would expect nonetheless out of Tony Romo as far as being as professional he has with this whole thing going on. To be honest with you, I could actually see, if they tried to push him back into the starting role, I would actually see, and it wouldn't surprise me if Tony Romo would defer and say, "Hey, ride your horse right now."
Right.
Ride him as long as he's doing what he's doing. Ride him.
Yeah. Enjoy the success because you don't know how long you'll have it.
That's right.
Definitely. All right. Before we go to break, have you ever played card games like Magic or anything like that?
None of those. I mean, I played euchre and spades.
Okay, so you've never played any of these like collectible card games?
No, I watched kids play Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I watched my kids play Pokemon. I just said, okay, have fun at it.
Okay. Well, apparently Cassius Marsh of the Seattle Seahawks, linebacker for the Seahawks,
I heard
he
this.
plays.
Yes.
He plays Magic the Gathering. In fact, he says he plays it because it helps relieve stress. He plays it so intently that he actually has a backpack full of Magic the Gathering cards, a collection that are worth, according to him, worth between $20,000 and $25,000. Well, I should say he had them because Tuesday night he was in a nightclub in downtown Seattle. His window of his vehicle got smashed, and somebody actually stole 2 backpacks out of his vehicle, one of which contained an iPad for the Seattle Seahawks, and the other contained his Magic the Gathering card set worth anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000.
So he's asked for a reward on the iPad, right?
No, he has actually asked a reward on the card set. And he's offering 2 home game tickets for anybody that returns his card set, of course, Game Maker Wizards of
and
the
they'll
Coast.
be arrested as soon as they sit down in those seats.
Right. Game Maker, the Game Maker, the makers of Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, they've actually responded to this. They sent Marsh a care package of cards in the meantime while he waits for the return of his.
I wonder if he watches Big Bang Theory.
I don't know. Everybody's got a hobby. Everybody has a hobby.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm in the dungeon with my axe.
Hey, coming from a man who plays Pokemon Go, I cannot judge. I will be right back just on the other side of this. This is the Cheap Seats on XERS Radio.
You're listening to XCRS Radio, bringing you classic rock live from Pleasant Valley.
Broadcasting to the four corners of the earth, Michiana Edge, every Sunday night, 7 p.m., XERSradio.com.
You stick with it, and you're passionate about it, you'll get better.
Climb aboard Starship Comedy and join co-hosts Adam Nielsen and
your beloved comedian, Colton Cole,
as we boldly go where no internet radio team from Michiana has gone before.
I am a legend from the future.
We will travel to the comedy underworld so you will know where's the show.
I miss when drinking was fun, though. You know what I mean? Like, before it was like a problem. You know?
That is so...
If it's funny or it's cool, we will cover it. Hey. See what I did there?
I was sent from space.
Dude, that's gold.
Just like my jokes.
Your mama must be so proud.
Why can't you love me?
Have you heard those two wacky guys, Chris and Ginn, on the Life is Art Also show? They share their favorite songs and their future favorites, too. They have live interviews with authors, comedians, artists, and musicians, and lots more. They also have a Word of the Week with Mad Dog Ho, the official lexicographer of Internet Radio. Tune in every Thursday, 6 p.m. on XERS.com.
Whether it's a hot rod or a grocery getter, DDW Automotive and Transmission has you covered. Since 1991, they've been located at 204 South Beach Road in Osceola, Indiana. Stop by or call 574-651-5000. Ask for Dave. Tell him you heard about him on XERS Radio. With over 46 years experience in the automotive and transmission repair business, they offer all your high-performance service and maintenance needs. Bring your ride to DDW. If your tranny misbehaves, just call Dave.
Life is meant to be savored. If you find the reason, Morgan's and the Little Black Dog Tavern in downtown Mishawaka, Indiana will make it special. From the casual European atmosphere to the high-end tavern fare, Morgan's and the Little Black Dog Tavern give you the chance to savor every day. Stop in and savor your day with your choice of a wide variety of drinks, from a classic martini to the best beers from local breweries. Savor your day on the patio, or come in and enjoy a glass of wine with some of our mouth-watering entrees. We're located in the historic Cam Brewery Stable Building in the 100 Center in downtown Mishawaka, Indiana. Call 574-807-0101 for reservations. Like us on Facebook to find out today's food and drink specials, or stop by our website at morgansandlbd.com. Drink in the moments, feast on the memories, savor every day at Morgan's and the Little Black Dog Tavern.
Hello.
You are in with the Cheap Seats on XERS Radio. Steve Willis here alongside Steve Detterman, taking you through hour number two. Hour number two brought to you by Morgan's and the Little Black Dog Tavern. So, all of the sudden, the Chicago Bulls are relevant again.
Yes, since when?
Sitting right now
5-5
at 5-4, 2 games back of Cleveland right now, but looking very sharp. So sharp, in fact.
Who have they played?
Well, regardless of who they played, how they look means a lot. Remember, it's a long season.
Oh, they got killed by Cleveland. They got killed by New York, I believe it was.
And, you aren't going to win every
Knicks,
game. You aren't going to win every game. The Knicks actually aren't that bad. The Knicks actually look pretty good. Their record isn't going to tell you anything right now. They're starting to come together as a team. But, hey, laugh if you will.
I am, because it's just they're coming together as a team, because I don't want to tell you they suck. But
no, they are starting to come together. There's a lot of pieces that need to be put into place there. Chicago, though, with Dwayne Wade being kind of the spiritual leader, because
he can't do anything else. So
well,
he's a spiritual leader.
A little too old to do much else. I've got to. I got to tell you though,
they call him Grandpa Wadey.
As much as this team, the expectations were nothing.
Yeah, because Chicago's used to the grandpas this year at least.
Yeah. Just stop.
Okay.
Really, the expectations were nothing for the Bulls coming into this season. And they go into Miami and they walk out with a victory. They looked very good in that game. They look like their play as a unit has actually gotten better.
Miami's 2-5.
Okay, but it's still a professional NBA team. They still looked good.
I'm sorry.
Running, they still looked good running plays against the team.
We only have like about 6 or 7 really professional teams in the NBA, and they're all in the West. Almost all of them are in the West.
All right, let me make my point before you shoot it down.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Knock it off. All right, let me make my point before you shoot it down. Okay. In the early stages of this season, when you're dealing with pieces that haven't played together in regular season before, there is that learning curve, and you're going to see that. But they're starting to kind of fill everybody on the Bulls team, starting to kind of find their role in this new offense and this design, this post Derrick Rose design that has kind of it's kind of moved more towards a pick and roll into a low post type of offense, and they aren't surrounding themselves with the idea of trying to feed Joakim Noah under the basket or just waiting for Derrick Rose to hopefully get off the bench and be healthy and just hang on until he shows up. They've moved on from there, and this is their move on. And I expected it to be a complete train wreck, and it's not. So I'm surprised. But they're actually doing a lot better, and they look a lot better than what I expected them to look. And so good, in fact, that when they play, was it? I want to say next week or this weekend, I should say, versus.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me find this story again. I missed it. Wizards. When they play Washington, I guess John Wall.
The 2-5 Wizards?
Yes, I guess John Wall is actually going to be held out of that game. Yeah.
So the 0-7 Wizards without John Wall?
To manage his minutes is according. That's what Scott Brooks is supposedly doing. But I kind of wonder if he doesn't want Wall exposed in the ragged offense that the Wizards have going there. I happened to read that story.
John,
and I thought
don't
you'd
expose
get a kick out of
yourself,
that.
please.
Yes, I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Well, here's the thing. You talk about the Bulls. I expected a train wreck, and we haven't seen it so far. Don't worry, it's coming. I mean, it really is coming. I mean, that train's not getting out of Union Station. It really isn't.
Well, you have to understand, though, this... It's an 82-game season. They've barely gotten out of the starting game.
Oh, they played all of 9 games. They're actually tied with the LA Lakers for a 5-4 record. The LA Lakers, actually. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference. Toronto's 5-2, Cleveland's 6-1, Charlotte's 6-1, Atlanta's 6-2. Then you get the Bulls at 5-4. Everyone else is 500 or below.
Right.
The East.
That's kind of what the East does.
The East sucks. It does.
That's kind of what the East has done.
I mean,
for a long time.
I look over in the West and you got Houston, San Antonio 5-3, Oklahoma City 6-2, LA Clippers 7-1, Golden State 7-2. Then you got a bunch of 5-4 teams, and then you get the Drex.
Yeah, the West has been kind of beating up on the weaker teams right now.
Have.
So
the weaker teams, yeah. As the Bulls get prepared to take on that fantastic, wildly just awesome team of the Washington Wizards, in which the Wizards feel that we're playing the Bulls, so we're going to rest John Wall.
Yeah, and they're probably, if they rest John Wall, they're probably going to end up getting smoked because they don't have any other talent.
And here's the thing: the way I look at it, the geriatrics, which are the Bulls, the Chicago geriatric Bulls. Yes, we're early in the season. We haven't hit game 20, where all of a sudden, the rheumatism sets in. The Geritol just isn't working as well as it used to.
Here we go.
And we're going to see this team is going to explode. Rajon Rondo isn't even in the mid-season form of bitching yet. That's coming. You know that, right? And then you get Dwayne Wade with his complaints and everything else, and I need to take off at least 3 games this week because of my knees. That we hadn't even started with that yet. And then let's take a look at the low post. Well, we got Robin Lopez. Well, can we get his twin brother? It might be a little bit better. I think we got the wrong Lopez. You talked about me saying that the Chicago Bears were better than they are. Wow, really? And then you brought this up. Okay.
Hey.
Okay. I understand. Right.
Well,
I mean, right now it is early in the NBA season. The Bulls have been they've done surprisingly well. But you know as well as I do that this is a train wreck that's just waiting. It's waiting to go off the course.
If it happens, you can sit back and say, I told you so. But I'm just saying right now, they're starting to look good. One thing that you and I will both agree on.
Is this a playoff team?
No.
Okay.
They're not a playoff team.
Is it a 500 team? Can they get to 41?
I think it'd be close.
Okay.
I think it'd be close. If they continue to improve, I would say yes, possibility of a 500 team.
Okay.
One thing that you and I can both agree on, I think, the superstars in the NBA, 10 games in, already scoring like nobody's business.
Oh,
I mean, something that I couldn't believe. Yeah. If you look at just starting Friday, just go Friday morning. 5 players woke up Friday morning averaging 30-plus points per game.
Yeah.
And listen to these names. DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, James Harden, Damian Lillard, all averaging at least 30 points per game. DeMar DeRozan, 34.1 points per game.
Wow.
You're averaging that over the course of the last 10
the name
games.
that you didn't hear was Stephen Curry.
Oh, Steph Curry
is 26.9.
Yeah, he's just under.
Yeah,
he's just missing.
He's barely gotten to the top 10. He's number 8 in the league.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Isn't that crazy?
Let's see if I can find the first one. Jimmy Butler, 14, 22.9. Okay. John Wall, 21.3. There he is. Yep. This is a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Easy for you to say.
Antetokounmpo. The guy from the Bucks. Pronounce that name. Go ahead. Give it a shot. Giannis A? We just say that?
It's Antetokounmpo.
Sure, that's it.
That's what I'm gonna call it anyway.
Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
No, I don't think you're right. Hey, that's okay.
I don't know. It's got to be close.
But either way you look at it, the NBA this year, it's pretty much playing to what people said. I mean, you've got the Cleveland Cavaliers.
As usual, the NBA has its usual haves and have-nots, and in the East once again, it's like a 3-horse race.
Right.
You've got the Cavaliers, you've got the Hawks, and you've got Toronto will make a case for themselves, I think, by the end of the year. Really beyond that, when you go 4 through 8 in the Eastern Conference, there's really nobody, I think, that's going to be able to compete when it comes right down to playoff time in any kind of a series, 3-game, 5-game, whatever.
No.
Then you go over into the West. Of course, you have the usual suspects there in Oklahoma City, in the Clippers, the Warriors. And
San Antonio.
Yeah, I would even say San Antonio is getting feisty again, so I'm kind of liking that.
5-3.
And once you get beyond those 4, then you have a couple of scrappy teams that are trying to get in there and make a name for themselves, but
Memphis.
there's really nobody. Yeah, the Grizzlies would be a very good example of that. But there's really nobody that really kind of has the talent to really compete on that series level with some of these top tier teams, some of these 3 or 4 top teams.
Has the NBA, in your opinion, I mean, let's talk ratings a little bit. Let's talk about because one of the big topics that have been out there is how far the NFL ratings have fallen.
Right.
Have you seen the same thing, or do you think the same thing of the NBA, that its appeal has dropped tremendously over the last couple of years?
Well, the NBA, much like Major League Baseball and the NHL, it's a long season.
Mm-hmm.
So you always have this peak, and then you have a lull, and then you have a peak again. And you don't want to measure the peaks. You don't want to measure the peaks because the peaks are going to give you a weird anomaly because everybody's excited about the season starting. They want to see how their team's doing. They want to see how the marquee teams are doing. So there's always going to be that peak. And the same thing happens in baseball. The same thing happens in the NHL. But then you go into the lull. You go into that lull part of the and for the NBA, it's getting into December, save for Christmas Day and New Year's Day because those are usually special events. And then you get into like January and February and you start asking yourself, okay, especially in February when you have all the NCAA men's basketball tournaments starting to come to a head, getting ready for March Madness. And then you get into March where your viewers have options again.
Right.
You have Major League Baseball getting ready to start up, so there's a lot of spring training baseball. You also have the NCAA tournament, men's tournament, and women's tournament going on there. So now you start looking at the NBA ratings there, and you say, okay, now where's the NBA when they actually have something to compete against, and you're not at the very beginning or the very end of the season.
I don't think we've seen good ratings over the last couple of years.
As of recent years, you're absolutely correct. As of recent years, the ratings have gone down. Well, quality of play is one.
Well, the quality of play, but the other thing is, it's just the amount of games you can watch. If you go back 10, 15 years and you got to, on a Saturday or Sunday, you could watch on national TV 1 or 2 games. That was it. Now you can watch every game. And I think with that, I mean, you're seeing, people watching a little bit in that, but I think they're getting, it's like football. I think we've taken the game and and they've done the same in basketball because you can watch a game every single night.
Right.
And after a while, it gets to the point of, okay, I am watching the same damn shit every single night. And it's something to where, it's not as fresh. It's not that Monday night game, which is maybe it's Sunday and Monday, and that's it. It's not that big spectacle anymore.
Right.
And it's almost to a point to where, well, you know what? I'll just catch it in the paper, and I'm going to watch this. And I'm going to watch that. I think we've gotten to the point where we have so many doggone choices to watch all these different things. You got your Netflix, you got your different cable things, and everything you can pull up. That I think it's taken a little bit of a backseat. You don't have that magic like you used to have, and I think that's hurt. Some of the sports. I think just the oversaturation of sports as it is. I mean, right now in college football, I could watch a game from Tuesday night through Saturday night. And
right.
I can watch
right.
a game from I can watch a replay then on Monday and Sunday if I wanted to. I can watch everyone from Division III up to Division I. I can watch high school football. And it just gets to a point to where it's the oversaturation of it. It takes away the specialness of that game.
Well, if the NBA didn't already play like 5-6 days a week anyway, and they always have.
Yeah.
This is not like, it's not like the NFL where all of the games for the week are in one day.
Right.
Or in a scenario, or like even in college football before the Tuesday, Thursday, and Wednesday, you had all of the games were either on Friday night or Saturday.
Right.
And it's not even that. The NBA has always been every day of the week somebody was playing.
And I'm not saying that it hasn't been like that. But as far as being able to watch it on a national basis, I mean, I can watch on ESPN or Fox Sports or NBCSN. You can watch a sporting event. You can watch a major sporting event every single night of the week.
Right. I think really the biggest problem that the NBA is having is the disparity in talent.
Yeah. Well, I agree.
The product on the court is nowhere near as good as what it once was. That is obvious.
And you and I have talked about the reasons behind the quality dropping.
Oh, certainly.
I mean, when you start letting kids come out after 1 year, and you have to make a decision: am I going to keep this guy? Because you're going to have so many kids, have so many people on the roster.
Right.
Am I going to keep this guy that provides me? He's been with me for 5 or 6 years. He's a role player, knows this and that. But I've got to make a roster spot for these 2 kids that we just graduated with. Where we spent a lot of money on to get them in the top 10, and by God, we don't know what they're going to bring, but we still got to give them that spot because we paid a lot of money.
Right.
And it has. I mean, they don't know the game like they should.
Well, and part of the problem is if you're spending 1 year in college, you're not really being taught the fundamentals
right. That's
of,
what I mean.
of the professional game.
They don't know the game.
Right. I mean, they come in.
They know how to showcase.
Right. They come in. They literally come in with a street ball Showtime game that just doesn't work in the NBA.
No.
It doesn't. It's not a palatable thing.
No, and it's made the college game that bad too.
Yeah, it really hasn't helped the college game because now any chance of any decent talent is gone after 1 year.
It's the one and done team.
Right.
And the thing is I don't want to watch the one and done team. I want to watch the team that's been there for 4 years.
Right.
I want to watch the Valparaiso. I want to watch the Butler. I want to watch some of these other teams that their players stay there for 4 years.
Right.
Notre Dame was one that did that. They made the Elite Eight, last 2 years running? With kids that stayed there for 4 years.
Right. And that is a huge difference when players when these kids become juniors and seniors and they actually get out on the court in a college setting. You can tell the upperclassmen are just head and shoulders above everybody.
But here's the bigger question I have you. When we watch the ratings of the NFL drop as it is,
right.
Are we watching sports overall starting to drop as far as in the minds of the population?
Well, sports it's always been cyclical.
Yeah.
So I mean there is no definitive line. It's either going to go one way or another. I mean, sports has this loop where it kind of loses some popularity and then it gains it back and then it starts to lose it again. The NFL has always been the anomaly to that. It's always been kind of a popular mainstay no matter what. There was a little bit of a lull in the 80s where the NFL just wasn't quite as big as what it had been, say, in the 60s and 70s prior. And I blame mostly the lack of dynasties really throughout the 80s. I mean, you did have some fairly decent San Francisco 49ers
we had Dallas,
teams.
San Francisco,
you had Dallas on the very back end of the 80s. Pittsburgh was they weren't the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s, but during the mid 80s, you really did not have a lot of
Buffalo.
Well,
4 straight times the Super Bowl in the 80s.
This is true. I always say somewhere in a third world country there is a kid wearing a 4.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, thinking the Buffalo Bills were the most awesome team in the world.
Every year I keep
80s.
getting this Super Bowl champion Buffalo
These
Bills.
guys just keep winning.
They rock.
They just keep winning. Anyhow, so I really think the NFL is taking a bigger hit right now just because of the quality of the officiating.
Yes.
And really, I hate to say it, but I think some of the political undertones in the NFL is probably not helping too.
No.
There are a lot of people that got really turned off by these orchestrated protests.
Oh, I agree.
That have happened before games with the whole kneeling or taking a knee during the national anthem and stuff like that. That turned a lot of people off.
Yeah.
That's really hurt ratings a lot, I think. And of course, the officiating definitely not helping.
Right.
The gameplay itself in the NFL, because of all the rules changes trying to keep people from getting hurt, the poor defense and the poor hitting and stuff like that, I think that is taking a bit of a toll too.
Well, I think a lot of injuries also have taken some players and put them on the sideline too that you don't want to see either.
And really, part of the injury thing, in my opinion, has something to do with the collective bargaining agreement as well.
Because if you don't let these, if
you don't let these guys get out and practice, guess what happens? Now all of a sudden you start getting ACLs, you get hamstrings, you get Achilles tendons. I mean, how many years has it been since we saw a big rash of ACL injuries, tendon injuries, like what we had this last year and the year big amounts of tendon and muscle injuries,
and we're seeing these
that
injuries
is from right, and that is from not having enough time to get out there and practice, and that is a problem.
I agree.
I mean, the NFL, much like baseball, much like any other sport, is a craft. If you do not have time to hone your craft, it is not going to be a good product coming out on the field.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the only major sport that has been, has just seen unbelievable ratings was Major League Baseball this year, and that was because of the Cubs.
Yeah, if not for the Chicago Cubs.
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, they saw, their most watched games, I think, ever. They had I think that was the seventh game of the World Series.
The seventh game of the World Series
didn't
it was the best ratings for any sporting event ever.
Yeah, I mean, it was higher than Super Bowls.
Yes.
And this is the thing that the Major League Baseball. Okay, if Cleveland can win next year, and then how about Houston? Houston hasn't won it yet. They're looking. I mean,
but that's not going to help you.
No, but the thing is right now, what these markets do, and this is like in baseball. If you want good ratings, you have to have some certain teams be good. The Yankees have got to be good. Boston has to be good. Chicago has to be good. Mm-hmm. You've got to have the Dodgers to be good.
Yeah.
And these are teams that they rely on.
I've always said that same thing about the NBA. The NBA is better when the Lakers, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Pistons, when they're
Bulls,
better.
When you have those major teams, the LA Lakers have got to be good.
Right.
They haven't been good for years. In football, a good, successful season, you have to have a good team in Chicago. You got to have a good team in Chicago. You have to have a good New York team. The Giants or the Jets have got to be good.
Have to have a good team out west somewhere.
You've got to have one in San Francisco or L.A. You've got to have one.
Or San Diego or Washington, just somewhere on the coast.
Dallas has got to be relevant. They've got to be good.
Yep.
These are teams, the old ones. Oakland has got to be good. Kansas City. When you have these historic teams, these teams that are all the NFL history that you've got,
right?
When they are not healthy, the NFL itself is not healthy.
The NHL is the same way.
It is.
When the original six are better, the NHL is better.
Oh, it is. I mean, when you can see, Montreal, when you can see Boston, when you can see Chicago, the Rangers, Detroit, when these teams win and they move up, it makes a big difference in the ratings.
Right. One thing, getting back to the NFL, one of the other things, then we got to get to a break. One of the other things that the NFL has done here recently is the way that they have handled certain on and off the field issues in the front office. A lot of fans do not like the NFL front office right now. I'll give you a prime example. Who was it? Richard
Sherman.
Sherman, yeah, Richard Sherman's hit
when he blasted
on the
Carpenter,
kicker.
yeah.
Blatant. His fine, $9,200.
Yeah, $9,000. Yeah.
Travis Kelce throws a towel at an official. Just tosses a towel at an official.
Well, he did more than that. I watched that.
Fine.
He did more than his throw, but still.
Okay, but he didn't hit anybody.
No.
He didn't crush anybody.
No.
Fined $24,000.
Yeah. Well, see, and the thing is...
It makes no sense.
Well, there is
no line
Sherman's hit was blatant.
Very.
And the thing is I think that's the thing that people are turned off with the NFL. Consistency. There is no consistency between your punishment, as far as what happens off the field or on the field. There's no, you have one guy, you say, well, we're going to suspend you for, a year. On some of these domestic abuses, domestic abuse cases, Tom Brady got more penalty of 4 games missed than some of these guys did, and Tom Brady was never ever convicted of doing what he did.
Right. Never even proved.
No, it's the consistency that the NFL has not had,
or lack thereof.
Well,
yes.
yeah, that's the lack of the consistency over the past 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely.
Between what they're doing, but also in their governing over their officials. The officiating has gotten horrible. Remember a couple of years ago when the officiating got horrible, they actually started dropping officials and bringing them in and dropping them from games.
Right.
They aren't doing that anymore.
No.
It's like, okay, well, you blew the call. Well, yeah, okay, you blew the call. You may have cost the game, and you did cost the game. Oh, well, another game next week. How are the ratings? Yeah, they still suck. Dang. Did we make money? Yeah. Oh, yeah, you made a ton of money. Good.
Yep. That's what matters.
That's all we care about.
Now, we are going to get to a break. When we get back, the NBA is not the only league that started up this past week. Detterman's going to let us know what's going on in the NHL Week 1 as we get that rolling just on the other side of this. You're listening to the Cheap Seats on XCRS Radio.
What's happening?
Tune in Wednesday night at 6 p.m. for Through the Deep Tracks with Bill McDonald.
We want to welcome you back to XCRS Radio
Through the Deep Tracks
show tonight, and we're traveling down the highway here. Strap on your helmet, board the short bus. It's going to be a rough ride. You're traveling the deep tracks tonight with Mr. Bell. We're in
Through the Deep Tracks.
And I want to wish him a happy birthday. We're going to carry on now with a song from the Rolling Stones, and actually it was this week. And a happy birthday this week. He just turned 62 this week. And we're going to finish out the evening with a track here, the third track from the album.
Wednesday nights at 6, only on the X. XCRSradio.com. Through the Deep Tracks.
Have you heard those two wacky guys, Chris and Ginn, on the Life is Art Also show? They share their favorite songs and their future favorites, too. They have live interviews with authors, comedians, artists, and musicians, and lots more. They also have a Word of the Week with Mad Dog Ho, the official lexicographer of Internet Radio. Tune in every Thursday, 6 p.m. on XERS.com.
games on our big screens to the best collection of memorabilia from your favorite sports greats, Rock Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Mishawaka has you covered. Our menu features something for everyone. Amazing sandwiches and wraps, and the best burgers around, including the Rockstar Overdose, 2 half-pound patties, served with bacon, cheddar cheese, and piled high with French fries. Like us on Facebook to check out our daily food and drink specials that are sure to be great on your gut and easy on your wallet. We've got you covered between game days, too. Wednesday night is trivia night where you can match wits with your buddies for great prizes. And every weekend, Rocks features great music from some of Michiana's finest artists. Come see why there's no better place to get your fan fix than Rock Sports Bar and Grill in the Yorktown Center building in downtown Mishawaka. For those who come to Rocks, we salute you.
Since 1980, Mr. G's has been serving up good food, good drinks, and great times. Located at 708 Lincoln Way West in the heart of Osceola. They are open 364 days a year with live music on the weekends and food and drink specials every day. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, and check out their website at
MrGofOC.com.
Stop in every Thursday for a world-famous prime rib or to watch your favorite sports events on their many HD TVs. Smoking is allowed, so you must be 21 or over.
And we're back to Cheat Seats on XERS Radio, wrapping it up. If you missed any of the show, make sure you check it out on Spreaker or iHeartRadio. Just go to either application, search the Cheat Seats. You can listen to this week's program or any other.
It is recorded, right?
Yes, it is recorded.
We are recording this week.
Yes. We missed last week's podcast because
No.
yours truly forgot to hit the record button.
No.
It happens.
Really?
It happens.
Okay.
So, I'm human.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, what?
The NHL has been back on for about a month now.
Yes, I said a week. I meant a month.
Yeah, I was going
Sorry
to say.
about that.
If they played 14 games in the last week, those boys would be tired, wouldn't they?
Man, that'd be a rough 7 days.
So far, though, I mean, it's been a bang up season so far. I mean, we've seen a couple.
Do tell.
Well, I mean, right now, I mean, Montreal, a team that they traded away a couple of their key players. They got rid of PK Subban. They brought some people in. 10-1 so far. Or I should say 12-1-1 so far in the season. 25 points. The one game they lost, they decided to give Carey Price, their all-world goalie, a day off. How would you like to be? Hey, you get to go in. Carey needs a rest. Okay. Coach, the score's now 5-0. That's okay. Stay out there. Coach, it's now 8-0. That's okay. Stay out there. Carey doesn't want to come out here. Wow, what a great game. You only gave up 10 goals today. The first game they lost 10-0. In hockey, 10-0 I mean, you're used to 1-0, 2-1, things like that. 10-0.
The NFL equivalent of losing 10-0 in the NHL. The NFL equivalent would be losing like 80-0.
Well, I was sitting there, talking. I sat there and I grew up in Illinois, so I'm looking at the Illinois high school football playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a couple of games. I kind of shook my head. The final score. This is in playoffs. This is in the second round. 91-63.
Oh my God.
91. That was a football score.
Oh my God.
91-63.
That sounds like an arena football score.
I'm just going back. Were they playing basketball? Really? But getting back to hockey, I mean, it's been a fun season already. I mean, Montreal, again, they just have gone out and they've blown away everybody over in the Eastern Conference and the Atlantic Division. Tampa Bay, another team. I mean, and the thing is with hockey so far, it's been a lot of familiars.
Right.
A lot of familiars. Montreal, Tampa Bay, and Detroit are your top three in the Atlantic Division. Mm-hmm. A couple of teams, Boston is hanging a little bit down below. Florida, a little bit surprising because Florida's had a couple of good teams over the last. They're down in last place right now. Again, very early in the season. They played a lot of games.
Right.
But Montreal sure has just been the class. And again, Carey Price, the all-world goalie, he's already got 9 of their 12 wins. Goals against average is well under 2. I mean, just superb. But Jimmy Howard, the goalie for Detroit. Detroit always has to, seems to pull up a nice goalie. And Jimmy Howard, who has had a couple of injury-riddled years the last couple of years, hasn't played the greatest. Just stellar in net right now. They always say, hey, when a goalie plays good, they're standing on his head. He's been standing on his head all season long, playing very well to lead Detroit into a second-place tie in that division. You move right down to the Metropolitan. The Rangers, Pittsburgh, and Washington. What else would you expect? I mean, those are the 3 teams. Ovechkin, you've got Sidney Crosby, and then the Rangers with all their leadership. Rangers and Pittsburgh on top. Rangers out there with 10-4 so far for the season. Yeah, a couple of surprising teams that you look at over in the East Side. It's nice to see Ottawa up there in the Atlantic Division, 1 game out of a playoff bid. And New Jersey and Columbus. I don't think they've ever made the playoffs that I can remember. Sitting very, very nice with 14 points so far this year. Now, out on the western side, I mean, if you take a look over there, the Blackhawks. Blackhawks, who basically every year it seems like they have to totally rehaul their lineup. And again, this year they had to do that also. They've lost people over the last couple of years. They lost Brandon Saad. They lost Patrick Sharp. They lost Shaw. They lost Bickle. They lost all these different players that they end up losing. And yet right now they've won their last 7 in a row. They're sitting out in front of the Central Division, which in hockey the last couple of years has been the toughest division. Between the Blackhawks, the St. Louis Blues, the Nashville Preds, Dallas, Minnesota, those teams have all been tremendous. Right. Blackhawks now out 21 points. St. Louis, who the Blackhawks beat just the other day 2-1, second place at 17. Surprise here, Dallas. Dallas was one of those teams we talked about when the season started. I said, look for Dallas and Nashville Dallas, Nashville, and St. Louis to be the cream of the crop here. Dallas, second to last. They're 4-6-3 so far, sitting at 11 points, 10 points behind the Blackhawks right now. Nashville, not much better, 13 points. They're 8 points back at a 5-5-3. So they've had some struggles as they've gone in. Over in the Pacific, another big surprise out there, the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton has not been relevant, since Wayne Gretzky left there back in the 80s.
Right.
Edmonton right now leading that division, 9-4-1, 19 points. A lot of young kids they've got, and they're all of a sudden playing very, very well. We look there, you got Anaheim has really played well over the last week or so. Anaheim and L.A., they were towards the bottom of the division here. Anaheim has moved up to second place, L.A. up to fourth. San Jose, who has done a total rehaul there too, they've actually moved up to third place. They've played very, very well. So, very, very bunched up team, division over there in the Pacific Division. Now, as far as standouts so far, I think so far it's really been the year of the goalie. I mean, if you take a look at some of these guys that they've done and what they've been doing. Jimmy Howard, I said, has been playing very well. Carey Price, of course, all world with the Canadians. Corey Crawford has actually come into his own this year, with the Blackhawks. I know over the last couple of years, the big say was, well, is Crawford good enough to continue to lead them? And you heard this,
right?
A lot of when a team struggles or something goes on, it's always, well, is the goaltender there,
right?
I watched him the other night against St. Louis, and some of the saves he were making, you just shake your head and go, how the hell did he get that? Right now he in the last 6 games, he's only given up 6 goals. 1 goal a game. So he's under 2 now as far as goals against. He's 5th in the league right now. Not so bad for this guy that had so many doubters about. Now,
right.
as far as goal scorers, I mean, you would expect the big names up there, right? You'd say, well, Ovechkin has to be up there.
Sure.
Ovechkin's 7. He's got 7 goals, but the leader so far, Patrick Lane from the Winnipeg Jets.
Really?
Not Patrick Kane, Patrick Lane.
Right.
11 goals. Leading the Blackhawks, Artem Anisimov, 8 goals.
Bless you.
I know. Marian Hossa, big story there. Hossa netted his 500th goal in the NHL this year, a milestone for him.
Right.
Still holding it strong this year with seven goals. Now, the other thing they look at then is total points. And your point leaders, you got Patrick Kane right up there. The Blackhawks have done a very good job of getting people up there. They got 3 people in the top 10. They've got Kane and Anisimov both at 17. They're tied for second. And then Artemi Panarin down at 8. And the thing is the Blackhawks last year, they had that line of Kane, Anisimov, and Panarin.
Right.
Kane, who led the league in points, and Panarin, who was the rookie of the year last year.
Right.
And Anisimov that did so well. Those 3 guys now are, all 3 top 8 in points, but they're not playing on the same line anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They've moved Patrick Kane up with Jonathan Toews to give that line a little bit more power. And Anisimov and Panarin, they've been teaming with Hossa, and I think that's been the revival of Hossa right now that you're seeing with the 7 goals. So, Coach Q over in Chicago has done a good job of mixing the lines again. A lot of new guys in there. A lot of new guys that you just go, wow, who's this guy again? Bless you.
That was a real sneeze.
It was. But, I mean, this is, hockey has been fun to watch so far. I didn't watch a lot of it, up until the World Series because, it was over because that's what I was in.
Well, sure.
And you say, hey, there's a lot of game left in the NHL, and there is. It's still early, but it's nice to see some of these teams. We talked about, in these leagues, you have to have these teams that, if they're winning, it's always good for hockey.
Right.
And if you take a look at it, Chicago winning, good for hockey. St. Louis winning, good for hockey. Anaheim, L.A., good for hockey on the west side. You go over the east, Montreal, Detroit. There's a couple more of your original 6s right there. Boston, not that far out. They're 8-6. They're 6. They're only a couple points out. Then on the other side, you get the Rangers, Pittsburgh, and Washington. I mean, this is what for the NHL. This has been like a dream year. You're seeing a couple breakouts. You're seeing Edmonton come out. It's early, but it's nice to see them there. Usually by now, they're so buried that, you just go, wow, they're going to stop a team there. They're starting to show that the kids can skate. The kids are doing well. They're very, very fast. And that's something that, it's real fun to see this game because it's gotten so much quicker that the speed and agility of these guys has just been unbelievable. So, it's early. But, so far it's been very exciting. It's actually been very good hockey. Very good hockey so far. Usually you wait until about December, January to where you start seeing. Usually, we say about January you start seeing the good hockey. We've actually seen some very good hockey so far early in this season.
Right.
So it is fun. That's right now. That's the take where hockey is right now. It's doing well. You're seeing some of the teams that are your key teams having good years.
Good stuff. All right, before we get rolling here, we only got about 15 minutes left. I just want to take a couple of minutes on this. Notre Dame versus Army this weekend.
Yes.
Irish 3-6. Army's actually not bad. They're I want to say 5-4 right now. So they're looking for a bowl game. Notre Dame loses one more. They're not even going to be bowl eligible. So right now are these kids playing for Chip Kelly or Brian Kelley? I'm sorry. These kids playing
same
for,
thing.
Yeah, these kids playing for Brian Kelly's job right now.
Swarbrick came out. Jack Swarbrick, the athletic director, came out a couple weeks back when this came up, and I told you, I said, I got a feeling if he finishes the season, 3-9 or 3-10, this team, he's not going to be here. And no. And I think we talked to Todd Burlage. He said the same thing. Swarbrick has been so pro Kelly, it's unbelievable. But the way this team has looked, over the course of the season, it's just been so damn inconsistent.
Right.
Last week they lost a heartbreaker, 28-27, and the reason they lost, Steve, is because Brian Kelley all of a sudden lost his cojones and decided not to go on a fourth down. your defense has shown they could not stop them. Didn't we see this before with Michigan State?
Right.
You cannot stop them on the ground. Well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and kick that field goal and go from losing 28-24 to 28-27 because I think my defense can get it back. No, they can't.
Right.
You've got to take stock in what your team can do and what your team can't do. This team can't stop a team on the run. They just can't. Not on a consistent basis. And if you're going to base your season and base your job on your defense working, that same defense that you fired the defensive coordinator a couple of weeks back, I mean, that's when you take a look at the head coach and say, well, is this the guy we want? What kind of decision was that?
Right.
I mean, you decide to kick the field goal when you've been doing very well. I mean, you've moved the ball all game. But there were two instances that game where they kicked field goals instead of going for fourth down, knowing that when Navy got the ball, they were going to chew up 8 to 9 minutes of ground, and that's what happened. They score, make it 28-27, a little bit over 8 minutes left in the game. They kick off to Navy. They never see the ball back. They do not see that ball come back because the team cannot stop them.
Right.
From getting the first down, and Navy did the right thing. I mean, they took it 3-4 yards at a chunk.
Right.
We're going to take the ball at our 20, 25, wherever it is, and we're going to go. 4 yards, we're going to wait the whole time. We're going to take the next play, take another 3 yards, okay. 3rd down and 2, okay, we got 3. That's all you need.
All right, so do you think Brian Kelley loses his job at the end of the season?
You notice I didn't answer that.
Yeah. Give me a hot take right now, yes or no?
A hot take. I think Brian Kelley will be relieved of his duties. I think there are too many. This season has gone so horribly wrong. The inconsistencies he showed as far as leadership. One of them keeping Van Gorder after last season. If you're going to keep him after last season, keep him the end of this season before you get him. You don't go 4 games in and get rid of him.
Right.
That should have been done last season. You should have had that taken care of. You should have seen what you had. Also, there are too many boosters out there with too many dollars in their pockets that just going to. Well, we saw this with Charlie Weiss. Okay, yes, Brian Kelley has a lot of years left on his contract. Has a lot of millions of dollars out there. Here's the thing: Notre Dame boosters are not going to come to Notre Dame to watch these games or to support, the university in itself with their donations if they don't have a good football team to come and watch. And right now, Brian Kelley is tired. He looks tired. His offense looks tired. He can't make the play that he needs to make. His defense looks tired. They need to get someone in there with some more energy. I think there's a guy that we talked about a little bit earlier that's sitting that wants to coach again that I would love to see stand on that sidelines next year. I mean, that would be awesome if we could get Mr. Lester Miles to come up here and be the Notre Dame coach. Because I just think I think Kelley's worn out his welcome. I really do.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. All right, real quick, let's touch on the top 4: Alabama, Clemson, Michigan, Washington, all 9-0. Ohio State, Louisville on the outside looking in at 8-1.
Washington's going to lose before the season's over. I think they'll lose this week to USC. Ohio State, Michigan, that winner will be in. Okay? They still have to play.
Right.
So the winner of Ohio State and Michigan is going to be in. I think Louisville will sneak in. I really do. I'm not so sold on Clemson still. I really am not. Alabama's still the cream of the crop if you go there.
Absolutely.
We haven't done NFL picks yet.
Not as of yet. I'm getting to them right now.
Do you want me to circle these? Because we didn't go over our picks last week, did we?
No, we did not. And we're going to get in on
because
them right
as far as I've looked at it, I mean, I've been kicking your tail every single week, I think.
Yeah, probably, and that's probably why we're not going over them.
Actually, I don't think so. But
all right, so, yeah, we will go ahead and we'll run through them real quick.
I got to find them here first.
I've got them right here.
Son of a gun, why don't I have them in here?
I don't know.
What happened? South Bend Tribune, where the heck is the football things at here?
I don't know. See, this is why I have the ESPN app, and I'm just fine.
This is a paper. That's why I read the paper. Get this stuff in there. Don't ever not put it in there again.
Print is dead, my friend.
No. I love print every single morning. Let's go with the games.
All right, here we go.
You're going to have to keep... I'll just write them down somewhere.
That's fine. Packers-Titans.
Just a minute. I got to write this. Willis, Detterman. I'm going Packers. I think... you talk about a team that's been decimated with injuries. The Green Bay Packers have just been killed. Aaron Rodgers, to do what he's done over the last 3 weeks with absolutely nothing offensively to work with, has just, in my opinion, has been amazing. He's made Devontae Adams a wide receiver. So I'm going to go Packers.
Okay.
Who do you go? Okay.
Vikings, Redskins.
Oh, you aren't going to tell me who you're going with?
Oh, yeah, no, I got Green Bay. Yeah,
okay.
I'll go ahead and give them to you. Yeah, I got Green Bay there.
Okay, who's next?
Vikings, Skins.
That's at Washington, right?
Yep.
Boy, I tell you, Minnesota has just looked horrible the last couple weeks. I think it's going to continue. I'm going to go Washington.
I'm going to take the Vikings on that. I think they get off the schneid here. Redskins' defense is terrible. Bears, Bucks.
Hang on, man. I got to do this again this way. We both went there. Washington, Minnesota. Okay, who is that again?
Bears and the Buccos.
This is played where? Chicago or down Tampa Bay?
I believe this is in Chicago.
I'm going to go with the Bears. They're coming off a bye week. They've had a chance to get a couple of guys healthy. Tampa Bay has not healthy. So having some running back issues there.
Right.
I'm going to go with the Bears on this one.
I like Chicago here too. Just once again, Bears coming off of bye week, got a chance to rest up. And just kind of reorganized. The Buccos reeling. Not really anybody for Winston to throw to right now. Chiefs, Panthers.
And that's at Carolina, right?
Yes.
Wow. I'm gonna have to go with is Alex Smith going to play this week?
Alex Smith is going to play.
Okay, who do they have a running back?
And Spencer Ware is going to play.
I'm going to say, is Niall Davis, the guy that got back from Green Bay, going to play?
No, Spencer
Remember
Ware.
I told you last week about that, and then they did it?
Yeah, that's funny.
They did it on Saturday.
Spencer Ware is going to play. Justin Houston, a late scratch, though, not going to be there. They're giving him an extra week off. They said he's ready, but they're giving him an extra week.
Well, I think, unfortunately, I'm going to go against your team. I'm going to go with Carolina in this one.
All right.
At home, I think they're just starting to round into shape.
Okay. I think Alex Smith comes back. He starts off a little gun-shy. The Panthers with Cam Newton, that's going to be a challenge for the defense, but I think it's a challenge that can rise up. I like the Chiefs in a close one on the road.
Okay.
Falcons, Eagles.
At Philadelphia, I don't think it really makes much of a difference. I'm going Atlanta.
Don't matter.
I love the offense Atlanta has. Their defense still needs it's a work in progress, but I love the offense they have. I'm gonna go Atlanta on this one.
Yep, Matty Ice at home on the road, still really, really good. I like the Falcons too.
A lot of options for him to throw to.
Yeah, Dirty Birds get it done for sure. All right, Rams, Jets.
Wow. Where's that being played at?
That is, I believe, in New York, New Jersey.
Then I'm gonna go with the Jets. I can't. L.A. I mean, they got a great defense, but they're traveling all the way across the country. Their offense just sucks. It really does. I'm gonna have to go with the Jets.
I like the Jets too. Rams. No West Coast team does well in an early game on the East Coast. No. Broncos, Saints.
Down in New Orleans?
In Nolans, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go New Orleans. I love that offense. Denver did not look good against Oakland at all.
This is a toughie. Denver is kind of a good dome team, even though they play outdoors. I think the Saints' offense is going to be too much for the Broncos to be able to keep up with. I don't think the Broncos' defense is as good as advertised. I think they're going to get exposed this week. I like the Saints. Texans, Jaguars.
That's out in Jacksonville, right?
Yep.
The way Houston's been playing, they've just been so up and down. But Jacksonville's just been so god awful. I'm actually going to go with Houston in this one. I think they will actually put together a good game, and we'll take it.
I like the Jags for the upset here.
That's an easy one to go with the upset on that.
Yeah,
That's
I like the Jags. Jags on a home dog upset. I just want to be different on that one. No other reason.
No problem.
Dolphins, Chargers.
San Diego. Well, wait a minute. Where are they playing at?
It is, I believe, it's at San Diego.
You know what though? That Ajayi has been just running the ball crazy. He's got 500 yards rushing in the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. San Diego. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm gonna have to go with the home team. I'll go with San Diego.
Okay, the Chargers sitting at 4-5 right now. One of the worst starts they've had in a while. They usually come roaring back in the second half, but it's not this early. I like the Dolphins to go on the road with a win here. Cowboys, Steelers.
Pittsburgh?
No.
Is it at Pittsburgh?
Oh, yes, it is.
Wow.
Pittsburgh the favorite in this one.
I know they're the favorite. Their defense is not the defense that they used to have. I'm going to go with Big D. I think Dallas is actually going to do this. I think Prescott's going to have a good game. I think Ezekiel Elliott is going to have a great game in this one.
Yeah, to me, the Steelers can get down the field, score a lot of points quickly. They can't stop the run. All right, Dak and Zeke, I think between the two of them, they're going to monopolize 36, 37 minutes of clock in this game. They're not going to give Ben Roethlisberger the ball enough times to go down and score a whole lot. Like the Cowboys here, keeping it low, keeping it close. Cowboys going to win. 49ers, Cardinals.
49ers against the Cardinals. Got to go Arizona. San Francisco's a train wreck.
Yeah, San Francisco's a dumpster fire. Arizona is a dumpster fire that's been recently put out. I think I would take Arizona.
They're smoldering, I think, still a little bit. So.
Seahawks, Pats.
You got to go New England. You got to go New England this one. I mean, Seattle's been they've been so off kiltered on the offensive side, and Tom Brady just does not let up. Big game calls for big plays from big players. Tom Brady's going to have a big game. I think he wants to show the Seattle secondary, still minus Cam Chancellor, what he can do. New England big.
Seattle's only lost 2 games all season.
I understand.
This will be their 3rd game. I think the Patriots do walk away with a big victory here. Bengals, Giants, Monday night.
Wow. What a drop off all of a sudden to that one. Right. Is that at Cincy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm actually gonna go with the home team in this. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati. I'm gonna go with Zach's team.
Cincinnati's actually the favorite.
Yeah, they're
one point favorite.
They shouldn't be, but I'll go with them.
I don't know. The Bengals to me have been looking more like the Bungles than the Bengals. The Bungles of the 90s.
I'm not arguing on that one.
The Giants. You still got a lot of talent on that roster. Just with Odell Beckham Jr., you have a game changer there that the Bengals just aren't going to be able to cover. I like Eli being able to get the ball down the field over that secondary. I like the Giants in a win here.
Okay. Five games we were different on,
and we will find out next week who's got the split on them 5 games. At least it's not an even number, so it's not like we can split on it.
Right. There you go.
So that's always nice.
So I mean, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. I mean, we're both kind of after the Cubs World Series win. Have you noticed everybody in the sports will just kind of go?
Yeah, after that World Series win, I think everybody's kind of like, now what?
Well, and that's it. I mean, as exciting as that was, it's just kind of like everything's sort of anticlimactic right now.
Right. Not very many, not very many stories to really go crazy over. There's no big push for anything, really.
No.
And so just everybody's just kind of sitting back like, okay, now what are we supposed to talk about? So, I don't know. To me, it's kind of a nice little break. Just kind of be able to get in, do a little whimsy, do our thing, and no great big major stories to go over.
I've been raking the crap out of leaves is what I've been doing.
I've been enjoying the kids.
You go.
I've neglected my family a little too much in October, so I'm enjoying them now.
Well, they turned into Cub fans.
There
we found out that last week.
They truly are Cubs fans.
Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs, go. All right, you guys, we're going to get out of here. You guys have a great week. We're going home. We'll see you next week.
Have a good night.
Staring out into the night. Trying to